You are trapped inside a loop, and you do not even realize it. Every morning, the same thoughts. Every night, the same fears. And here is the terrifying truth. If you ignore this moment, if you keep postponing, you will wake up 10 years from now, still repeating the same cycle, older, heavier, and wondering where your life went. Right now, infinite versions of you are vibrating in the quantum field. Some are wealthy, some are loved, some are powerful beyond imagination. But those timelines are vanishing with every second you hesitate. Every delay is a door slamming shut. Every doubt is another nail in the coffin of the life you truly desire. Do not be deceived. Fate is not your prison. Destiny is not your chain. You are locked inside because your system, your body, your emotions are still addicted to the old frequency. And unless you break it now, the field will mirror back the same struggles until the day you die. Science has already shown it. Quantum physics reveals that every possibility already exists. Neuroscience confirms that 95% of your behavior is controlled by the subconscious. If your nervous system is wired for fear, you collapse into fear. If your body is addicted to scarcity, you collapse into scarcity. Think about it. You can say affirmations all day long. You can make vision boards, meditate, pray. But if your body contracts in panic when you pay a bill, the field registers poverty, not abundance. If your heart is armored and closed, the field registers loneliness, not love. This is why desire means nothing. The quantum does not respond to how badly you want it. It responds to how completely you embody it. And every moment you wait, another version of you takes your place. The question is simple. Who will you allow to collapse into reality now? Pause and feel that question. Who will you allow to become real? The you who stays frozen in fear, or the you who finally breaks free? You may think this is just motivation, but it is not. This is his physics. In the principle of superposition, every outcome exists at the same time. Every possibility is already alive in the field of potential. The only question is which signal you align with. Which version of you will collapse into form. And here is where most people fail. They think wanting is enough. They think desire is the key, but the quantum field does not respond to your desperation. It responds to your coherence. It listens to the dominant vibration pulsing through your body, your emotions, your subconscious. So ask yourself, what are you really broadcasting? Are you sending out fear or faith? Scarcity or abundance? Isolation or connection? A veteran in Texas once lived this nightmare. Every night he relived the trauma of war. Every day he drowned in silence. His conscious mind said he wanted peace, but his nervous system was addicted to fear. He was collapsing into the same timeline over and over, until one night he chose differently. He discovered the quantum shift. He stopped waiting for evidence and began to embody the version of himself who was already free. Slowly his body rewired. His mind stabilized. His heart opened again. Today he teaches others how to do the same. He is living proof that the loop can be broken. And here is the warning. If you refuse to choose now, the loop will harden. The pathways in your brain will deepen. Your body will cling to the old emotions like a drug. 10 years will pass. Then 20, and the chance you have right now will not return. But if you choose in this moment, the field responds immediately. Not tomorrow, not someday, now, because the quantum field has no choice but to reflect the frequency you embody. When you rise, it rises with you. So what will you decide? Will you continue waiting for change while repeating the same old story? Or will you embody the version of you who has already stepped into abundance, love, and freedom? This is your invitation. Not from me, not from anyone outside you. from the field itself. The timelines are collapsing. The doors are closing. The only question left is whether you will walk through. If you have ever felt trapped, if you have ever sensed that you were meant for more, declare it now. Write it into reality. Type in the comments, "I am ready to shift." Let this be the moment where you signal the field with total clarity, because the field is listening. Your future is listening, and it is waiting for you to rise. So I ask you again, are you sure it is fate holding you back? Or is it simply a false signal coming from your own mind? No, you are not bound by fate. It is your consciousness and your subconscious that are shaping your reality. This is the truth most people never hear. It is not destiny writing the script of your life. It is not luck dealing out the cards. It is the invisible machinery inside your mind, your body, and your nervous system broadcasting signals into the quantum field. Those signals decide which version of reality collapses around you. So let me ask you, what are you actually broadcasting right now? Do you realize that 95% of your behavior is being controlled by your subconscious mind? 95%. That means almost everything you do, think, feel, and decide is not truly conscious choice. It is programming. It is habit. It is the old loops running you while you believe you are in control. This is why people meditate, affirm, visualize, and still nothing changes. Because their subconscious is louder than their conscious desires. The field listens to the dominant signal, not the loudest, not the desperate wish, the dominant vibration. You want abundance, but your subconscious is wired for scarcity. You want love, but your subconscious is addicted to fear of rejection. You want freedom, but your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. And the field mirrors back exactly what you embody. Think about that for a moment. If your subconscious holds fear, fear is what you attract. If it holds scarcity, scarcity is what you live. If it holds unworthiness, opportunities slide right past you. This is not philosophy. This is neuroscience. Your brain's neural pathways, firing patterns. The more they fire together, the more automatic they become. That is why you keep repeating the same choices, the same mistakes, the same outcomes. So the real prison is not fate. It is your subconscious programming. And here is the mysterious paradox. You can rewire it. Joe Dispenza has shown again and again that people can change their brain waves through meditation, moving from chaotic beta states into coherent gamma states. When the brain shifts, the body shifts. The signal sent into the field changes. And reality REARRANGES. Nikola Tesla understood the hidden power of vibration and frequency. He once said that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. These are not poetic words. They are keys, because everything you experience is frequency. And the frequency you broadcast is creating the reality you live. Let me give you a real story. A CEO in Silicon Valley was drowning. His company was collapsing. Stress ruled his days. Sleepless nights ruled his mind. He tried every strategy, every consultant, every tool. Nothing worked. Until he discovered the power of brain training. Through meditation and neurofeedback, he literally rewired his brain. His stress responses calmed. His focus sharpened. His creativity exploded. Within months, his company turned around. He did not just change his business. He changed his frequency. And the quantum field mirrored back a new reality. So what about you? What are you waiting for? Another failed year. Another broken promise to yourself. Another decade wasted while your subconscious keeps replaying the old script. Or will you seize this moment? Right now you can begin to take back the pen that writes your story. The pen that has been in the hand of your subconscious since you were a child. You can reclaim it, but only if you choose. Do not fool yourself. Time will not save you. Waiting will not fix it. The longer you wait, the deeper the pathways of fear, doubt, and scarcity carve into your brain. They become harder to break, more automatic, more invisible. That is why change feels impossible. But it is not. It is just unfamiliar. So I'm asking you to declare your power. Say it out loud. Write it into the comments. Claim it now. If you want to hold the pen of your life again, type the words, "I hold the power." Let this be your first act of taking control, because every comment is not just text. It is a signal, a declaration to yourself, to the field, to the version of you waiting to emerge. This is your chance. Do not waste it. The evidence is clear. Science has already proven that your subconscious runs most of your life. Great thinkers have confirmed the hidden law of vibration. Real people like that CEO in Silicon Valley have shown what happens when you change your brain, your frequency, your field. So why not you? Why not now? The truth is simple. Consciousness is the architect of your reality. The subconscious is the engine. If you want to change your world, you must rewire the engine. You must embody the signal of the timeline you desire. The field does not lie. It does not bend to your wishes. It responds to your coherence, to your alignment, to your embodiment. So, once again I ask you, will you keep handing over the pen to your subconscious programming? Or will you write your own story? The choice is here. The choice is now. And the field is listening. If you want to seize it, type into the comments, "I hold the power." And remember, this is not just a phrase. It is a declaration, a signal, a shift, because you are not a victim of fate. You are the creator of your reality. The only question is whether you will finally live as the architect you were born to be. But let me leave you with this question. If consciousness truly is the key, why do so many still fail when they try to change? Because the one stopping you is not out there. It is your nervous system and your subconscious within. This is the hidden truth that explains why so many people fail to change. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not cursed. You are fighting against an invisible guardian that believes it is protecting you. That guardian is resistance, and resistance is not random. It is built into your survival system. Your nervous system is designed to keep you alive, not to make you thrive. It prefers what is familiar, even if what is familiar is painful. It believes safety is in repetition. It clings to old loops because old loops feel predictable, and predictable feels safe. That is why when you try to change, your body rebels. You decide to take a risk, but suddenly fear whispers in your ear. You set a new goal, but procrastination drags you back. You start a new habit, but doubt sabotages you. That is not weakness. That is biology. Neural pathways in your brain are like grooves in a record. The more you play them, the deeper they cut. The more they cut, the harder they are to break. Your habits, your emotional reactions, your old patterns are etched into those grooves. Every time you fall back into them, the groove deepens. This is why you feel trapped, because you are running on neurological autopilot. So let me ask you, how many times have you tried to change, only to snap back into the same behavior? How many times have you promised yourself it would be different, only to find yourself in the same place weeks later? Did you think that was failure? Or could it be the pull of an ancient survival mechanism that does not want to let go? There is a woman in New York who lived this battle. She tried to quit smoking again and again. She threw away the packs. She swore each time would be the last. But every attempt ended in relapse. Why? because her nervous system was wired for the ritual, for the comfort, for the chemical relief that felt safe. Consciously, she wanted freedom. Subconsciously, she was addicted to familiarity. It was not until she began retraining her subconscious with neural therapy that the shift happened. She rewired the grooves in her brain. She taught her nervous system that safety could exist without the cigarette. And when her subconscious finally aligned with her conscious choice, she broke the cycle for good. Today, she breathes free. She is not weak. She was simply fighting the most powerful opponent of all, her own system of survival. And that is exactly where you are right now. You are not trapped by fate. You are trapped by grooves. You are trapped by a nervous system addicted to the familiar. And unless you face it, the grooves will only dig deeper. This is why change feels like war. Because you are literally battling the chemistry of your own body. You are confronting a system that believes it is saving your life. That is why resistance feels so convincing. That voice that says wait until tomorrow. That whisper that says be realistic. That weight in your chest that freezes you in place. Those are not random. They are survival alarms. But here is the paradox. What once kept you alive is now holding you back. The system that saved you yesterday is destroying you today. And if you do not confront it now, you will live your entire life inside its cage. So let me ask again. How long will you let resistance dictate your future? How long will you obey fear disguised as logic? How long will you confuse safety with stagnation? Because until you see resistance for what it is, you will keep calling it reality. You will keep believing the excuses. You will keep bowing to the illusions your nervous system throws in front of you. But once you recognize the trick, everything changes. Resistance loses its power the moment you stop treating it as truth and start treating it as a signal. A signal that says you are stepping out of the old groove. A signal that says you are touching the edge of your new timeline. The woman in New York is proof. Millions of others are proof. Neuroscience is proof. Your brain can be rewired. Your nervous system can be retrained. Your subconscious can be reprogrammed. But none of it begins until you admit the enemy is not out there. It is inside. And this is where your choice becomes urgent. Every day you delay, the grooves deepen. Every moment you hesitate, the autopilot gets stronger. Resistance does not weaken with time. It grows. So claim your awareness now. See the enemy clearly. Feel the patterns trying to drag you back. Name them for what they are. Resistance, survival, old programming. And then declare your power. If you too have been deceived by your own fear, if you too have been pulled back by your own nervous system, claim it now. Write in the comments, I see it. Let those 3 words break the illusion. Let those 3 words become your first victory against the resistance inside you. Because the truth is simple. You cannot fight what you cannot see. And now you see it. So I will leave you with this question. How do you break the grip of this invisible force? How do you shatter the resistance? Code it into your own biology, and finally step into the timeline that has been waiting for you all along. You do not break resistance with logic. You break it with embodiment. This is the secret most people never discover. You cannot outthink your way into a new reality. You cannot analyze yourself into freedom. You cannot argue with your subconscious until it surrenders. Because the field is not listening to your thoughts. It is listening to your state. So let me ask you, what state are you embodying right now? Are you living in the vibration of fear or the vibration of faith? Are you showing up as the person who is still waiting for change or the person who has already stepped into it? This is embodiment. To live as though it is already true. To walk, breathe, move, and decide from the frequency of the reality you desire. Not tomorrow. Not when the evidence arrives. Now, science has shown us why this works. Microshifts, the smallest of changes, create massive impact. A single new behavior repeated consistently rewires neural pathways. Tiny adjustments in posture, breath, and daily rituals send signals to the nervous system. And when the nervous system changes, the field changes. Because your body is the broadcast tower of your vibration. Think about it. If you rise each morning in despair, your body radiates despair. If you speak to yourself with doubt, your frequency carries doubt. But if you shift even one small habit, the broadcast changes. That is the power of microshifts. Let me tell you the story of a man in Los Angeles. He lost his job. He had no opportunities. His bank account was collapsing. But instead of surrendering to despair, he made a radical choice. Every morning, he put on a suit. Every morning, he carried himself like the CEO he wanted to become. He walked with authority. He spoke with confidence. He embodied the future version of himself long before it arrived. For months, nothing happened. Friends mocked him. Bills piled. But he refused to collapse back into the old timeline. And then one day the call came. An investor he had met years earlier reached out. They were launching a new venture and wanted him to lead it. The man who had been unemployed was suddenly sitting at the head of the table. He did not manifest it by begging. He manifested it by becoming. The field had no choice but to mirror the vibration he embodied. So what about you? What would change if you lived tomorrow as if your success was already here? What if you carried yourself as the person you want to be, not the person you are afraid you are? Imagine waking up tomorrow and asking yourself one question. How would I move through this day if my dream were already real? How would I walk into the room? How would I speak to others? How would I treat myself? And then you act from that answer, even in the smallest ways. Because the smallest ways change everything. Microshifts compound. They retrain your brain. They rewire your body. They recalibrate your frequency. You cannot wait for proof before you shift. Waiting is the old signal. Embodiment is the new signal. And the field only responds to the signal you are broadcasting now. So stop asking, when will it come? Start asking, how can I embody it now? This is how you shatter resistance. Not by fighting it, not by debating it, but by walking into a higher state so fully that the old state dissolves. The old vibration cannot hold you if you are no longer carrying it. Think of the suit on that man in Los Angeles. It was not just clothing. It was a signal. A declaration to himself and to the field. And the field listened. So here is my challenge to you. If tomorrow you woke up and lived like the version of you that has already succeeded, what is the first action you would take? What is the microshift you can make that will tell your nervous system the old story is over? Write it now. Declare it. Comment the action you will take. Do not wait. Type it in. One action, because when you write it, you anchor it. When you declare it, you embody it. This is your moment. This is your chance to step into embodiment. Not someday, not later. Now, the question is no longer will it work? The question is, will you embody it? Will you rise into the frequency that forces the field to mirror back a new timeline? So let me leave you with this. If you can live one day as though your dream is already real, you can live two. If you can live two, you can live 10. And if you can live 10, you can live forever in the vibration of the reality you desire. The choice is in front of you. To keep waiting for change or to embody change. To keep asking when will it come or to declare it is already here. So tell me, how will you write the story of your shift? Story is the key to controlling your frequency. Let that sink in. Not willpower, not endless struggle, not waiting for luck to arrive. The real key is the story you tell yourself. Because story is not entertainment. Story is architecture. Story is vibration. Story is the frequency your nervous system uses to decide who you are and what reality you deserve. So let me ask you, what story are you telling yourself right now? Are you telling the story of failure? Are you repeating the narrative of fear? Are you still reciting the tale of the person who always falls short? If so, you are not simply remembering the past. You are recreating it. Every word, every thought, every narrative you repeat is broadcasting into the quantum field, and the field mirrors back the story you embody. This is why storytelling is the most powerful tool of transformation. Neuroscience has shown that the brain does not distinguish between lived experience and vividly imagined experience. When you tell a story with emotion, your brain wires it as if it were real. This is the power of sparkline, the structure that begins with the painful truth of your current state, then rises into the vision of what is possible. When you rehearse that arc, you are literally training your nervous system to accept a new identity. Think about that. Every time you tell yourself a story, you are rehearsing an identity. You are coding a frequency. You are shaping your timeline. Let me give you a story that proves it. A teacher in Chicago spent years struggling. Low income, long hours, no recognition. She told herself the same story every day. I am just a teacher. I am stuck. This is all I will ever be. And that story kept her trapped. But one day she learned the secret of rewriting her narrative. She sat down and wrote a new sparkline. She began with the pain of her current reality. But she did not stop there. She wrote about the woman she could become. A leader, a speaker, a writer, a voice that mattered. She rehearsed that story until it pulsed in her veins. She spoke it out loud. She lived it in her classroom. She began teaching with the energy of someone whose words would one day reach the world. Months later, she submitted a manuscript to a publisher. That manuscript became a bestseller. That teacher became an author. And that new identity became her reality. Why? Because she stopped telling the story of being stuck and started telling the story of becoming. The field had no choice but to align. So let me turn the mirror on you. What story have you been telling? What lines are you rehearsing in your head every single day? Do you realize those lines are not just words? They are frequencies. They are vibrations shaping the world around you. If your story is, I am not enough, you collapse into a timeline of scarcity. If your story is, I always fail, you collapse into a timeline of defeat. But if your story is, I am rising, if your story is, I am becoming, the field listens. The field, REARRANGE, eyes. This is why great leaders, mystics, and thinkers have always used story. They knew it was the most direct way to shape collective reality. And if story can move nations, it can move your personal timeline. So what story will you choose to write tonight? Will you keep rehearsing the tragedy? Or will you begin the epic? Will you keep telling the tale of limitation? Or will you declare the narrative of expansion? The choice is urgent. Because every day you rehearse the old story, those neural grooves deepen. The subconscious accepts it as law, and the field mirrors it back with relentless precision. But the moment you write a new story, you send a new signal. The moment you live inside a sparkline that rises into possibility, you collapse into a new timeline. Do not underestimate this. A single page can rewrite your destiny. A single declaration can shift your vibration. A single comment can mark the beginning of your new narrative. So I'm asking you to act now. Write it, speak it, declare it. In fact, I want you to anchor it in this very moment. Type into the comments, my new story begins here. Let those words be the spark. Let those words mark the shift. Because when you declare them, you are not just typing. You are collapsing into a new frequency. And remember, you are not inventing fantasy. You are aligning with a timeline that already exists. The version of you who has already succeeded is waiting. The story is the bridge. Embodiment is the key. The field is the mirror dot. So what will you choose? Another day rehearsing the same old lines? Or this moment, this breath, this declaration of a new story? Because story is not just words. Story is destiny. And your destiny begins the moment you write it. But here's the question that lingers. Once you have written your new story, once you have shifted into a higher timeline, how do you keep it alive? How do you maintain the shift without collapsing back into the old narrative? That is the secret we will uncover next. To sustain the shift is to practice new neural patterns every single day. This is the truth most people miss. Change is not a single spark. Change is a fire that must be fed. If you want your new timeline to hold, you cannot rely on one breakthrough moment. You must anchor it into your nervous system through repetition, through practice, through daily embodiment dot. So let me ask you, what are you practicing right now? Are you practicing doubt? Are you practicing fear? Are you practicing the story that nothing ever changes? Because every thought you rehearse, every emotion you indulge, every habit you repeat is training your brain. You are sculpting your reality with every repetition. Neuroscience has proven this. The brain is not fixed. It is plastic. Neuroplasticity shows us that your neural pathways reshape themselves based on what you practice. Fire the same circuit again and again, and it becomes automatic. Stop firing an old circuit, and it begins to wither. This is how habits form. This is how identities are built. This is how timelines solidify, dot. So the question is not whether you can change. The question is whether you will repeat the new pattern enough times for it to become your new normal dot. Think about it. A man in Florida once weighed 50 pounds more than he wanted. He had tried every diet, every shortcut, every quick fix. Each time he failed because he believed change was about a massive leap. But then he discovered the truth of microshifts. Instead of chasing a miracle, he focused on one daily action: drinking water before meals, walking 10 minutes each morning, sleeping an extra hour. Each choice small, each shift simple, but repeated again and again until his nervous system accepted the new rhythm. Months later, the weight was gone. Not because of a single dramatic decision, but because of steady microshifts that rewired his brain, his body, his identity. He did not just lose weight, he became a new man. And that man still exists today because he practices the frequency every day dot. So what about you? Will you keep chasing the dramatic leap only to collapse back into the old timeline? Or will you honor the truth? That daily practice is the foundation of transformation. Do not underestimate the power of community in this. Your nervous system is wired to mirror those around you. Surround yourself with people who live in the vibration you desire, and your brain will begin to copy their patterns. But surround yourself with people who feed doubt, fear, and limitation, and your nervous system will collapse back into the old story. So choose carefully. Your community is not just social, it is neurological. Every conversation is a microshift. Every interaction is training. Every environment is sculpting your frequency. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. 1,000 small choices shape the brain more deeply than one massive push. Because the brain learns through repetition, through reinforcement, through pattern. So let me ask again, what are you repeating? What are you rehearsing? What are you practicing into permanence? You can declare a new story today. You can embody a new state tomorrow. But if you do not repeat it, if you do not stabilize it, the old grooves will pull you back. The subconscious will reclaim the pen. and the field will mirror the old frequency again. That is why I'm calling you to act now. Anchor your shift. Declare your consistency. Type into the comments, "I am consistent." Let those words burn into your nervous system. Let them become the mantra that locks your new frequency into place. Because consistency is not glamorous. Consistency is not dramatic, but consistency is power. And the field responds to power. The man in Florida is proof. Neuroscience is proof. You already feel it in your own life. Every habit you have today was once a choice repeated until it became automatic. So what will you automate now? Fear or faith? Scarcity or abundance? Stagnation or transformation? This is the urgency. Every day you delay, the old grooves deepen. Every day you repeat the old story, the subconscious strengthens its grip. But every day you repeat the new story, the new state, the new frequency, your future solidifies in alignment with your desire. So do not wait. Do not hope. Do not postpone. Practice, repeat, anchor, and rise, because the field is watching. Your nervous system is listening, and your future is being written with every action you take. So again, I ask you, will you keep chasing sudden miracles that vanish? Or will you step into the discipline of daily microshifts that build the miracle into permanence? This is the crossroads. This is the moment, and it demands an answer. But one question remains. Can a single leap, a single instant of awakening, really transform you all at once? Or is the truth more mysterious than we have ever imagined? This moment is the gateway to the leap. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, because the truth is, you are never going to feel fully prepared. The leap never announces itself politely. It demands you step when your knees are shaking, when your heart is pounding, when the old story still whispers in your ear. So let me ask you, how many times have you delayed action, waiting for perfect conditions? How many times have you convinced yourself that later would be safer? And where has that waiting led you? Right back into the same loop. The leap is not about certainty. The leap is about movement. The leap is about proving to your nervous system, to your subconscious, to the field, that you are willing to act in alignment with your desired timeline. Even if it terrifies you, especially if it terrifies you. Science confirms this. Research on small wins proves that the smallest victory can ignite massive momentum. A single action breaks inertia. A single choice changes trajectory. One step signals your brain that a new path is possible. And once the brain feels the win, it wants more. The cycle reverses. Instead of failure feeding doubt, success begins to feed confidence. So what small win could you claim in the next 24 hours? One email, one phone call, one bold conversation, one decision that says to the field, I am moving. There was a student in Boston who faced this exact crossroads. He dreamed of a career that felt impossible. He had no connections, no resources, no roadmap. But instead of collapsing into despair, he took one small action. He wrote a single email to a potential mentor. It was risky. It was uncomfortable. But it was action. That email changed everything. The mentor responded. A meeting was arranged. Guidance was given. Opportunities opened. And within months, the student who once felt invisible was walking through doors he never imagined. His entire career ignited because of one step. Not a giant leap. A single email. This is the mystery of the leap. It is not about the size of the action. It is about the alignment of the action. When you move from the state of your future self, even the smallest shift becomes quantum. So what about you? What action could you take today that your future self would thank you for? What step could you claim that proves you are done waiting, done doubting, done rehearsing fear? Do not underestimate this. A comment, a call, a message. a choice. These are not minor. They are doorways. They are signals. They are shifts. And when you act, the field listens. So I challenge you. In the next 24 hours, take the leap. Do not plan it. Do not perfect it. Do not overthink it. Act, step, move, then declare it. Anchor it. Type into the comments. Done? Let that word be the proof. Let that word be the signal. Let that word be the collapse into your new timeline. Because waiting is death to momentum. Waiting feeds resistance. Waiting strengthens the old story. But action, even the smallest action, breaks the chain. Action is liberation. Action is power. So, again, I ask you, will you keep waiting for the perfect moment that never comes? Or will you declare that this moment is enough? That this moment is the gateway to your leap? Do not mistake this urgency for pressure. It is opportunity. The door is open now. The question is whether you will step through. The student in Boston is proof. The science of small wins is proof. Your own life has shown you glimpses of it. Every time you acted, you felt alive. Every time you moved, the world responded. So why not now? Why not today? This is your chance to end the cycle of hesitation. This is your moment to declare to your nervous system, to your subconscious, to the field, I am no longer waiting. I am moving. So take the step, claim the win, anchor the shift, and let me leave you with this question. If the leap begins with action, then what hidden belief, what buried doubt, what old story is still holding you back from stepping into the timeline that belongs to you? Belief writes the source code of your reality, not chance, not luck, not fate. Belief, because your life is not responding to what you wish. It is responding to what you truly believe. So let me ask you, what hidden beliefs are shaping your days? Do you believe you are unworthy? Do you believe success is rare? Do you believe happiness is temporary? If so, those beliefs are not just thoughts. They are frequencies. They are signals coding your nervous system, shaping your chemistry, and broadcasting into the quantum field. Science has already proven this. The placebo effect shows that belief can heal. The nocebo effect shows that belief can harm. Patients given sugar pills, but told they are medicine, recover, as if the pills contained powerful drugs. Patients told they might experience side effects, develop symptoms even when given harmless substances. Belief overrides chemistry. Belief rewrites biology. Belief is the master code. So what are your beliefs programming into your reality? There was a man in California who lived this mystery. He was gravely ill. Doctors gave him little hope, but he entered a clinical trial where half the patients received an experimental drug. What he did not know was that he was given a placebo, just saline solution. And yet his health began to improve dramatically. His body healed. His energy returned. Why? Because he believed the treatment would work. His belief rewrote his biology. His mind broadcast a signal of health, so coherent that his body obeyed. If belief can heal disease, what can it do to your career, to your relationships, to your destiny? But here is the danger. Belief cuts both ways. Placebo becomes nocebo. Belief in sickness creates sickness. Belief in failure creates failure. Belief in limitation chains you to limitation, and you will not even know it is happening. You will simply call it reality. So again, I ask you, what is the code running your system? Are you living inside a story of strength? Or are you trapped inside the virus of fear? This is why mystics and scientists alike point to belief as the foundation of transformation. Belief is the architect of perception. Belief decides what you see, what you ignore, what you allow, and what you reject. Two people can stand in the same room and see two different worlds. Not because of the room, but because of the beliefs they bring to it. So how do you change your reality? You must change your belief. You must write a new code. You must install a new frequency. Because the field cannot give you what you do not believe is possible. Let me make it simple. If you want abundance, but deep down you believe money is evil, the field will block it. If you want love, but deep down you believe you are unworthy, the field will mirror loneliness. If you want freedom, but deep down you believe you are powerless, the field will echo chains. Belief is not decoration. Belief is law. So the most important question you can ever ask yourself is this: what do I believe? Not what do I wish? Not what do I say? What do I truly, deeply, unconsciously believe? Because those beliefs are the blueprint of your timeline. And until you rewrite them, you will keep collapsing into the same loop. But here is the good news. Beliefs are not fixed. They can be rewritten. Just as the patient in California rewired his biology with a placebo, you can rewire your destiny by planting a new belief. And the first step is declaration. Speak it, write it, claim it. In fact, I want you to anchor it right now. Type into the comments, "My new belief is." Let that sentence become the first line of your new code. Do not just think it, declare it. Signal it to the field, because this is not a game. This is not theory. This is the foundation of your reality. So once again, I ask you, what will you choose? To believe that you are stuck, that you are small, that you are powerless, or that you are rising, that you are abundant, that you are the architect of your own timeline. The choice is urgent, because every moment you repeat the old belief, the code hardens, the pathways deepen, the nervous system clings to the virus. But every moment you rehearse a new belief, code shifts, the brain rewires. The field responds. So do not delay, do not postpone. Declare your new belief now. Let it pulse through your body. Let it radiate through your nervous system. Let it broadcast into the field. And then live from it. Embody it. Act from it. Because belief alone is the seed. But embodiment is the soil that makes it grow. So again, type it, speak it, anchor it. My new belief is. Let those words collapse you into a higher timeline. But one question still remains. If belief is the code that shapes your reality, then how? Do you reprogram it fully, so the old story never drags you back again? Reprogramming belief begins with the language you repeat every single day. Not with luck, not with chance, with words. Because words are not harmless. Words are codes. Words are vibrations. Words are the frequencies that tell your nervous system, your subconscious, and the quantum field what to mirror back into your reality. So let me ask you, what words are you repeating right now? Are you saying I can't? Are you whispering I'm not enough? Are you rehearsing the language of limitation? So often that it has become the anthem of your life. If so, you are not just speaking. You are programming. You are encoding your future with every syllable. Science has given us undeniable proof of this. Dr. Masaru Emoto's research showed that water crystals change shape depending on the words spoken to them. When water was exposed to words of love and gratitude, it formed beautiful, harmonious patterns. When exposed to words of hate or fear, the crystals became chaotic and broken. And what are you made of? Mostly water, which means your body, your cells, your entire system is responding to every word you repeat. Your language is not just communication, it is creation. A young athlete in Colorado discovered this truth the hard way. He had talent. He had training. But every time he stepped into competition, he told himself the same story. I choke under pressure. I always fail in the clutch. And that is exactly what happened. Again and again, his words became his fate. until one coach forced him to change his script. Instead of "I choke," he began repeating "I thrive under pressure." Instead of "I always fail," he repeated "I rise when it matters most." At first, it felt fake. At first, it felt like a lie. But repetition rewired his nervous system. His body began to believe the words. His performance transformed. And soon, the same athlete who used to collapse under pressure was winning championships. Not because his talent changed, because his language changed. So let me ask you again, what language are you feeding yourself? What spells are you casting with your words? Are you destroying your own future with the language of fear? Or are you programming abundance, strength, and possibility into your system? Because the field does not care what you intend. It cares what you broadcast. And the words you repeat are the clearest broadcast of all. This is why affirmations work when done with embodiment. When you repeat "I am powerful" with conviction, your nervous system records it. When you say "I am abundant" while living in gratitude, the field listens. But when you whisper affirmations without emotion, while your body vibrates fear, the words collapse into emptiness. So the challenge is not just to speak. The challenge is to speak with power, to speak with coherence, to speak with alignment. What if you treated your words like sacred code? What if every sentence you spoke was either building your new reality or reinforcing your old prison? How would you speak differently? How would you think differently? How would you talk to yourself in the silence of your mind? This is where the shift begins. Not in the world outside you, not in circumstances. In the words you allow to cycle inside you. So here is my challenge. Right now, choose one new affirmation, one new line of code, one new sentence that declares the frequency of the future you want to embody, and then anchor it by writing it into the comments. Do not just think it. Do not just whisper it. Declare it. Write it. Read it out loud as you type it. Let the sound of your own voice imprint the code into your nervous system, because every comment is more than text. It is a declaration. Every word is more than sound. It is vibration. Every phrase is more than thought. It is frequency collapsing into form. So what will your new affirmation be? What line of code will you install into your system right now? Will it be "I am worthy"? Will it be "I am free"? Will it be "I rise"? The choice is urgent, because every old phrase you repeat digs the grooves of the old timeline deeper. But every new phrase you declare becomes a seed of your future. The athlete in Colorado is proof. Emoto's experiments are proof. Your own life has already whispered. Proof. The words you repeat become the world you live. So declare your code now. Anchor it with action. Write it, speak it, live it, and let me leave you with this question. If language can reprogram your frequency, then what environment? What voices? What conversations are you surrounding yourself with that are either lifting your vibration or pulling it back into the old story? It is the environment that reinforces your language and your beliefs. You can speak new words. You can write new stories. You can declare new codes. But if you are surrounded by voices of fear, by energy of doubt, by people who pull you back into the old vibration, your nervous system will mirror them, and your shift will collapse. So let me ask you, who are you allowing into your field? Who are you giving permission to shape your frequency? Because make no mistake, your brain is copying the signals of your environment, whether you realize it or not. Science has revealed this with stunning clarity. Mirror neurons. These cells in your brain fire not only when you act, but when you observe others acting. If the people around you are afraid, your neurons fire fear. If the people around you are inspired, your neurons fire inspiration. You literally synchronize with your environment. So what does that mean for you? It means you cannot rise alone in a room full of people committed to staying small. It means your nervous system cannot embody abundance while it is drowning in conversations of scarcity. It means your future collapses into the average frequency of your community. This is why great leaders always formed circles. This is why movements always formed groups. Because no one sustains transformation in isolation. You need the field of a community to stabilize the shift. Think of the story of a young immigrant in Houston. He arrived with nothing. No money, number, connections, only fear and survival. Every job he found paid little. Every day felt heavier. Until he discovered a mastermind group, a community of visionaries committed to growth. At first, he felt out of place. At first, he doubted he belonged. But week after week, something happened. His neurons began to mirror the group. Their language became his language. Their beliefs became his beliefs. Their energy rewrote his energy dot within. A year, he launched his own business. Within 2 years, he was employing others. The man who once felt invisible had become a leader. Why? Because he stepped into an environment that broadcast a higher frequency, and his nervous system could not help but synchronize dot. So again, I ask you, what field are you living in? What conversations are sculpting your brain? What community is shaping your destiny? Do not fool yourself. Willpower is not enough. Affirmations are not enough. If your environment is pulling you down, eventually it will win. But if your environment is lifting you higher, your rise becomes inevitable. This is the urgency of choosing your field. You cannot afford to stay in rooms that drain you. You cannot afford to absorb energy that poisons you. You cannot afford to rehearse beliefs that chain you. Your future is too important. Your timeline is too sacred. So step into the higher field now. Anchor it with action. Send the signal that you are choosing a new environment. Click like right. Now, let that simple act declare to yourself and to the field. I choose community. I choose energy that lifts me. I choose the field that reinforces my new frequency, because every like is not just a click. It is a signal. Every signal is not just digital. It is vibrational, and the field is listening. So again, I challenge you. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who remind you who you really are. Immerse yourself in conversations that fuel your rise. Align yourself with communities that refuse to let you collapse back into the old timeline, because your nervous system will synchronize with something. The only question is whether it will synchronize with fear or with power. The immigrant in Houston is proof. Mirror neurons are proof. Your own experience whispers proof every time you leave a conversation feeling heavier or lighter, drained or inspired. So do not take this lightly. Environment is not background. Environment is destiny. And let me leave you with this. What happens when you stop only absorbing the signals of others and start becoming the signal yourself? What happens when you become the frequency that lifts? The room, the vibration that shifts the community, the guiding light for others to mirror. That is the question you must face now. When you become the signal, you do not just live in the new timeline. You create it for the world. This is the final truth. The highest shift. The moment when your transformation stops being only about you and begins to radiate outward into the field of everyone you touch. So let me ask you, do you realize the power you hold? Do you understand that every thought, every word, every emotion you embody ripples out beyond you? That your vibration is contagious? That your frequency can ignite change in people you may never even meet? Science confirms it. Social researchers have shown that emotions spread like wildfire. Joy, hope, fear, despair, they leap from one nervous system to another through tone of voice, facial expression, body language, and energy. This is called emotional contagion. And it proves what mystics have always known. Your state is not private. Your state is a broadcast dot, so the question becomes, what are you broadcasting? When people stand near you, do they rise or do they shrink? When you walk into a room, does the field expand or does it collapse? Because whether you like it or not, you are the signal. The only choice you have is whether to become a source of contraction or a source of expansion. There is a story from Detroit that proves this beyond doubt. A single mother, crushed by debt and despair, decided to transform herself. She worked on her mindset. She rewired her beliefs. She embodied strength she never thought she had. At first, the shift was just for her survival. But soon something happened. Women around her began to notice. They felt her energy. They mirrored her resilience. She gathered them into a group. She shared her practices. She led them through the same journey. And in time, that group of women rose together, breaking cycles of poverty and fear, creating businesses, supporting each other, rewriting their destinies. One woman became the signal, and her signal transformed a community dot. So what about you? Will you settle for living in your new timeline quietly? Or will you rise as the source, the beacon, the vibration that changes everything around you? This is your invitation to step into your role not just as participant, but as creator. To recognize that every smile, every act of courage, every declaration of faith is a broadcast. And the field is listening. Your family is listening. Your community is listening. The world is listening. So I challenge you now. Declare it. Anchor it. Type into the comments, I am the signal. Let those words become your final shift. Not just a statement, but a transmission. A vibration that begins in your nervous system and echoes into the collective field. And do not stop there. Share the signal. Click the heart. Save this video. Send it to someone you love. Because when you share, you multiply the vibration. When you spread the frequency, you open more doorways. You lift more people into the timeline of possibility. And if you want to continue this journey, to keep rising, to keep anchoring, to keep transmitting, then subscribe now and ring the bell. Not for me, for you, because your growth does not end here. Your evolution is just beginning. And every video, every teaching, every reminder will help you sustain the signal you are becoming. So let me thank you. Thank you for choosing this video among millions. Thank you for bringing your energy here. Thank you for being willing to listen, to feel, to rise, because your presence matters. Your attention is not passive. It is a vibration. And right now, you are sending ripples into the quantum field that will echo beyond this moment. This is why I ask you for one final act. Leave a single sentence in the comments. One line, a declaration, a promise, a seed. Because that sentence will not just sit there. It will vibrate, it will imprint, it will call the field to respond. And when you return, you may discover that sentence has already begun to collapse into form. So write it, speak it, share it, and watch the miraculous unfold. You are not just a person in transition. You are the signal. You are the source. You are the vibration that the field cannot ignore. Only question that remains is this. Now that you know you are the signal, what reality will you choose to transmit into the world?